So, hello, I'm Penny Lee, the program manager of the AKC GoodDog Helpline, and I would like to welcome you to our webinar on chewing. Just to give you some background on myself, I have worked for the AKC for about 16 years, and I am a lifelong dog lover. I've lived with a number of dogs of all sizes and breeds. My husband and I breed and show and train flat-coated retrievers and border collies, and we've done so for about 30 years. I am a certified dog trainer, and I compete with my canine team in a number of sports, including obedience, rally, agility, dock diving, and disc. So I hope that once your puppy is through puppyhood, that you will explore some of the great events that AKC has available for you to get involved in with your dog. So I'm here today to talk to you about chewing. And chewing is one of the #1 questions that we receive on the GoodDog Helpline from our clients. Chewing is a puppyhood problem, pretty much, but it can be quite irritating and challenging to deal with. So we hope today to give you some tips to get you through this stage with your pup. So the first thing I wanted to tell you is just puppy teeth. A little bit about why they have puppy teeth, and there is a purpose to those puppy teeth. So the puppy teeth come out around 2 to 3 weeks of age, and they are razor sharp, as you have probably already discovered. But they are actually one of the reasons why they're so sharp. The purpose is that they are there to start the weaning process. So if mankind wasn't involved and they were out in the wild, mom suddenly feels those sharp little teeth on her nipples and the milk bar starts closing down. So she starts reducing the amount of time she's nursing the puppies, and she starts looking for a way to wean them. So with today's society with domestic dogs, what we do as breeders is we start feeding the puppies some solid or semi-solid food around the time the teeth start erupting. So those little teeth are sharp. There's 28 of them, but they are there for a reason. So the other thing to take into consideration is the teething process, and this has a direct impact on how much your puppy is chewing. The breeder usually has to deal with the early stages, but you have to deal with the teething process, since most of you probably brought your puppy home about 8 to 10 weeks of age. And the teething process starts at about 4 months or 16 weeks. It can start anywhere between 4 to 6 months, and it can last several weeks until all the puppy teeth are gone and they gain their permanent adult teeth, of which they have 42. So during this time, puppies have very sore gums. The teeth come out. You may even find some little puppy teeth around the house. Puppies swallow most of them, which is fine. It's not harmful, but you might find a few as keepsakes. But during this time, it is important to realize that puppies their gums are sore. They need to chew even more than they usually do. And they might even be cranky, just like human infants get during teething time. So take all this into consideration. It is a great time to have really great chew toys, and there are some that are made especially for the teething time. Some of my favorites are those you can wet and put in the freezer. And when they come out, they're frozen, and the fact that they're cold really helps soothe those gums and numbs the gums and makes the puppy feel a lot better. And AKC actually has a chewing basket that is it's a basket full of teething type toys that you can order from the AKC shop. It's a great thing to take a look at if your puppy is entering that stage. And then most people aren't aware that there is a secondary teething phase, and that happens around 8 to 10 months, somewhere in that area. And that's when all those adult teeth settle permanently into the jaw. And a lot of people think teething is done, and they don't realize why the puppy suddenly has another burst of more extreme chewing, and that's why. So don't throw away those teething toys at when they lose those puppy teeth and the adult teeth come in, because you need them for that secondary phase. So there's other reasons why puppies chew a lot. And one of those is that they are exploring the world. And it is very true that puppies are more prone to chewing than adults. So you can rest assured that almost always, except there's a few hardcore adult chewers, but almost always the chewing situation does get much better as puppies mature. And the reason for that is because they've already explored the world. I always say you would liken your puppy, your teething puppy or your young puppy to a human toddler. And human toddlers, they walk around and they pick up everything with their hands, and they put stuff in their mouth too, because they're exploring the world. Like, what does this feel like? What does this taste like? And puppies are just the same, except they don't have hands. So puppies put everything in their mouth because they're like, what's this feel like? What's this taste like? Wow, this is fun to pick up. And so this goes away as they mature, but it's just part of their learning what the world is all about. So how do you combat this? So several things you can do to get through this stage and protect your puppy and protect your home. One is your puppy should not have access to your total house. You really need to limit the amount of space that your puppy is allowed to be loose in. So the rooms that your puppy does have access to, and you can use barriers such as baby gates or X pins to make sure that they only stay in that room, that the approved room should be puppy proofed. And what that means is you need to carefully examine the room before the puppy enters it to make sure anything that they should not have isn't accessible. And that includes getting down on the puppy's level, like get down low where your puppy can see things, because they can see things down there that you may not see when you're standing up. And make sure that anything is up, because they can't tell the difference between your shoe and their toy. So if it's down where they can get it, it's fair game and it's not their fault. So also getting down on their level and looking around enables you to see anything that might not be safe, like electrical cords that you need to do childproof safety measures on, anything like that. So some puppies are quite athletic and can also reach things you wouldn't think they could. So, anything that you suspect they could reach should also be removed. So that way you're already eliminating a great many temptations. And that is very helpful. The other thing is supervise. So just because your puppy has access to that room, it still does not mean that you don't need to supervise the puppy. So just like you would not leave a human toddler running loose around the house, or I hope you wouldn't, your puppy should always be supervised. This helps with house training. And by the way, we have a webinar on house training available as well. But supervision helps with house training, but it also helps make sure your puppy's not getting into trouble. So you can head off trouble before it happens, and you can head off chewing before it happens. In this way, and when you can't watch your puppy, I should say, they should be in a puppy safe area. And hopefully most of you are crate training. So, if you have to leave the puppy, take the puppy and put them in their crate. Or if you have a laundry room that you've puppy proofed as a smaller area, or an X pen, something like that. So when you can't watch the puppy, put them up. So finding other things for your puppy to chew on. So you should always have puppy safe chew toys available at all times. And really adult dogs need chew toys too. All dogs have the need to chew throughout their life. It's just puppies chew a lot more than adult dogs, generally speaking. So you want good toys that last. So dogs really like things like pig's ears and bully sticks, and those are great for treats, but they don't last. Generally, dogs eat them, and even puppies eat them. Generally, they're gone in just a few minutes. So they didn't really do a lot to keep your puppy occupied with chewing for very long. So some of my favorite choices are Nylabones. Nylabone has an entire line of really good and safe chew toys. So does Kong. Kong makes some great choices. I love just the regular standard Kong, hollow hard rubber Kongs that you can stuff. Stuff them with something edible that is good for puppies. And I even like to freeze them. And the dogs just love them, puppies love them, and it keeps them working for a long time to try to get the goodie out of the Kong. So it keeps them chewing on something that is puppy safe, and it lasts for a long time. And you can stuff Kongs with a variety of things. You can use squeeze cheese. They make commercial substances that you can stuff. They make something kind of like squeeze cheese, but it's a Kong made substance. It has different flavors like liver flavor. They make like these hard cookies that you can put into these the hollow Kongs. You can use peanut butter as long as it's not sugar free, because xylitol is poisonous for dogs. You can use even their kibble. You can wet their kibble till it's kind of a mush, and then stuff it in the Kong and then freeze it. So all these are great, and it keeps the puppy occupied for a long period of time. Bones are fine as long as they're sterile and they can't splinter. You can actually buy real bones that are sterile and do not splinter. So, anything that they can't chew off small bits of or splinters, that's safe and last, is very good. The other thing to note about this is that it really helps to rotate the toys instead of having them all out at one time. So if you just have 20 toys laying around, it's overwhelming for the puppy. Sometimes they can't choose one and they get bored. So a better solution is to keep things new. They're just like human children who love the new toys. Puppies are the same. So have a really good selection of toys. Add a new one every once in a while, but every day rotate. Pick up the ones from yesterday and put out 2 or 3 new ones. That's all you need, maybe 2 to 4. And then when they're looking at something else to chew, you can offer them the appropriate chew toy. Now, what happens when you've puppy proofed, everything is up they shouldn't chew on, you have the good chew toys down, but what they want to chew on is something you really can't puppy proof, like a couch. So it's really difficult to pick up your couch and take it out of the room, or a chair or a table. And of course, dogs love to do this. Puppies particularly will love to chew on a table leg or the end of the couch. So my suggestion is to divert them. So a lot of times puppies start doing this also because they're bored. So this is a great time to divert them and play with them, engage them in play with a toy, take them on a walk, do some training, get their mind off of what they were doing to something more fun. You can also offer them one of their chew toys, or a stuffed Kong. Take it out of the freezer, and if they choose to chew on the appropriate toy, you can praise them. And if you do not have time to divert to do something else with the dog, with the puppy, it's probably best to just pick them up, give them a good chew toy, and put them in their puppy safe area, like a crate or an X-Pen. Now, if you have a hardcore furniture chewer that is not easily diverted, no matter what you do, you may want to invest in one of the puppy chew spray deterrents. They're sprays, basically, they're safe for the puppy, taste it, they're safe for your furniture, but they taste bad. And so you can spray that on wherever they tend to chew, and hopefully the puppy will think it tastes badly, and they will decide on their own it's no fun to chew on that. If I will say some dogs are unfazed by those sprays. They act like they taste just fine, like roast beef. So you have to experiment to see if it works for you. I think the first option is always better to divert them, change the behavior, But if you have a really hardcore problem with puppies chewing on furniture and they're hard to divert, you might try some of the bad tasting deterrents to see if that will put a dent in that behavior. So what if the problem is they're not chewing on the furniture, they're chewing on you? And this really isn't a chewing problem, this is a nipping problem. But again, we get lots of questions about this, and all puppies will nip when they're playing, chew on your hands. Some have much less bite inhibition and bite much harder, and some are much more hardcore about liking to do this. Some of it is breed specific. Herding breeds very much, when they move livestock around, they do so often by nipping. So sometimes herding puppies will want to nip your ankles or your legs, your pants legs when you walk, because it's just part of their instinct. So the other thing is they're just trying to engage you in play like they do with other puppies. So they're puppies, you're their friend, they want to play with you. And how do puppies play with each other? Well, they sound like they're killing each other. If you ever watched a group of puppies play together or a litter, they growl, they throw each other down, they bite each other. It sounds horrible, but they're having a ball. And they want to do the same thing with you. They're like, let's play. What should have happened when they were with their litter mates, if they bit too hard, their litter mates should have squealed or cried or acted out. And this is how puppies learn bite inhibition, which means even though they might continue to bite each other in play, they don't bite so hard. The mother dogs also can be helpful with this before you get the puppy, by correcting puppies who nip mom too hard. However, there are some mother dogs that are very lenient and do not correct their puppies at all. And there are also only puppies that are onesies, the only one in a litter, sometimes don't get the benefit of playing with litter mates, so they really don't have that bite inhibition. So now that you know why your puppy tends to nip you, what do you do? So there's several different ways that you can work on this and deter that behavior. The best thing to do is, first of all, most corrections that would come to mind for you probably don't work and can even make it worse, like pushing the puppy back, yelling no, or eh. Some people even, want to grab their mouth or their muzzle. And all that really rarely works and even can make it worse. Because one thing, the puppies, they want attention. You're giving them attention, even if you consider it negative attention. And it may even seem to them like you're playing back, like you're roughhousing. The very best message you can send your puppy is that nipping gets you no attention whatsoever. So when your puppy is biting at your hands, or whatever, then you should just go still. If you're sitting down, you should stand up, cross your arms, hold them tight against your body so they can't grab your hand or your arm, and don't even look at the puppy, no eye contact. Just go completely still. And even if the puppy is continuing to jump on you and trying to get a reaction, you should remain still like a tree. And then after a few seconds, when the puppy settles down, you let up and hopefully it will have abated. If they go back to nipping you, you can go to your tree act again for a few seconds. So we're just trying to send the message to the puppy that, I'm happy to play with you, but not if you're going to be biting me. If the puppy continues, I will take it a step further. I will even leave the room. This is the only time I would ever tell you not to supervise your puppy, but just saying, okay, you're continuing to jump on me and nip at me. I'm going to leave the room. I'm not participating in this. You just step out of the room, shut the door just for a few seconds. Just a really big message to the puppy, like, oh gosh, suddenly I'm just sitting here all by myself. And then if they're really over threshold, you can't get them to calm, they may need a timeout. And by a timeout, I don't mean anything that's punishment-like, because you never want them to think that going in their crate or their puppy safe area is punishment. You just very non-emotionally take the puppy, even maybe give them a chew toy and put them in their crate, in their puppy safe area, much like you would put a toddler down for a nap. Sometimes acting out on a puppy's part means they are tired. They're over threshold, much like human toddlers get sometimes. So this is all just setting the puppy up that if I'm happy to keep interacting with you, but the nipping ends interaction. And this message may not happen. They may not get this message overnight, especially if you have been showing other behavior about their nipping prior, but they will get the message eventually and realize that it really didn't get them anywhere. So ceasing the behavior continues the human puppy interaction. Now, the other thing regarding the nipping, biting people, is to definitely not play with the puppy with your hands. So it's just natural to want to play with the puppy with your hands. And this message has to go throughout the entire family. The children really like to roughhouse with puppies and grab them with their hands and tussle. But what that happens, that really makes your hands into toys. And what will happen is you'll end up, getting nipped, or the puppy may nip too hard. No fault of theirs. You were playing their game. Play with them, but you do want to play with the puppy. It's very important that the puppy enjoy playing with you and other members of the household, but play with toys, not hands. So, and I love tug of war. You can see in the picture, there's somebody playing tug of war with their English Cocker puppy. Tug of war, it may not be a great choice when the puppy is teething because the gums are too sore to tug. But tug of war, when they're not teething, is a great little game to play. Retrieve, throwing the toy, just letting them tussle and roughhouse with the toy you're holding. I suggest a big toy for this so the puppy can't accidentally grab your hand. If you have a small toy, the puppy might be trying to grab the toy and grab your hand accidentally. So big toy, breed according to your breed. A toy breed doesn't need as big a toy as a Great Dane, obviously. But play is very important. But not playing with your hands, playing with the toys. Some puppies have very little problem with nipping or mouthing, and then you don't really have this issue, but it's still good to teach the puppy that toys are what we play with when we grab something and not human flesh. And then the other thing you might want to look into, if you have a puppy that's really seems to crave that kind of play activity, the rough housing, is to find a play group for your puppy. It is important that puppies in the group all be around the same age, size, play style. But it is really good. If you have a dog in your household, you have especially a young adult, they may play with your puppy already, in which case is great for you because the puppy will just release a lot of that energy with your other dog. But many adult dogs don't want to play with puppies. Even if they tolerate the puppy and seem to like it fine, they really don't want to play like that anymore. They're adults. So, or if your puppy is an only dog, a great way to find this is through a puppy training class. And we do recommend you take your puppy to puppy training classes. Puppy kindergarten starts right at 8 weeks of age. Puppies can learn a tremendous amount early on. And almost all puppy training classes include playtime. This is a really good opportunity because you have a dog trainer there who can supervise, who can mark if anything is inappropriate play, and can break anything that looks like it might be getting out of hand. They can help you know how to handle it. Plus, all the puppies in the class would be around the same age, which I do think is important. Other ideas are if you have friends who also got puppies around the same time, just having some play dates. Meetup groups, there are meetup groups. Many of them are breed specific. But the most important thing for this is that I think the puppy is playing with dogs around the same size and age for safety. I don't recommend dog parks for young puppies. There's too many adult dogs, too many unknowns. But if you can find the right combination, it can be a great way for your puppy to burn off some steam and get to play puppy type games. However, play with other dogs should never replace play with you. It's very important that the puppy enjoy playing with you also. So I hope I've given you a few tips on how to get through the chewing stage, whether your puppy's teething or they're past the teething stage, a few things to help make it easier. And as I said, it usually gets better as the puppy matures. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today and you would like to talk one-on-one with one of our professional trainers, hopefully you will consider enrolling in the GoodDog Helpline. We are open 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and 6 hours a day all weekend. We only use positive reinforcement techniques, and you can call as much as you want. So I hope you will give that a try. And I also wish you much success on the rest of your puppy training journey.